I want to call him half hand. It's not half hand. It's Halbrand. Hello and welcome on in. Today I'm going to be watching and reacting to The Rings of Power episode 3. Okay, so it's been a few days since I watched the last episode. So what happened was Nori, the Hobbit girl, she obviously found the man meteor with the guy in it, the stranger. We don't know who he is yet. He's obviously got some sort of power because he can do things. I'm not quite sure what it is he's doing, but he makes everything go whooshy, which is a little bit alarming for people that are stood next to him. But yeah, it's unclear like who he is at this point, or unless I'm just being thick. There was a couple of things he did in the last episode. He was like drawing lines into the dirt with sticks, which kind of didn't make a lot of sense. It didn't look like writing. And then right at the end of the episode, he used fireflies from a broken lantern to make a constellation, or what we think is like a constellation. And Nori has decided that he wants her to find this constellation, which will then presumably guide him home or give answers or something. So yeah, from the elves in the last episode. So we got Galadriel, who was in the ocean from having jumped off her ship in episode 1. She came across like the wreckage of a ship with some people, like some survivors, kind of floating on it. And then they got attacked by this sort of sea creature, this worm thing. I think most of them perished, but Galadriel and this man survived. Again, it looks like they were being picked up by a ship at the end of the episode, so presumably they're going to be safe now, depending on who it is that's picking them up. We've got Elrond, who was sent to work with I think he was a blacksmith or some sort of smith, like a very famous one. I can't remember what his name was. I'm not even going to get into trying to remember what it was. But basically, this guy wants a forge built in a tower or something, and he's going to need a massive workforce to do it. And so Elrond decided that the best thing to do would probably be to approach the dwarves to see if they could presumably build it. So he went off to see the dwarves, and his friend, or who he thought was his friend, Durin, who was the prince, I believe, I think he's the son of the king of the dwarves, whoever that might be, was obviously sort of quite annoyed that he hadn't been in touch for 20 years. And like Elrond sort of said, or didn't think anything of it, because 20 years to an elf is like nothing, whereas the dwarf was obviously quite upset because he'd missed his wedding, he'd missed like the birth of his children and stuff, so he was understandably upset, you know, thinking that Elrond had just kind of forgotten about him. But they kind of patched things up, I think, and he took Elrond's proposal to his dad, the king. But it feels like there's something else going on there. Not quite sure what at this point. I'm sure I should probably know from the movies, but again, it's been so long ago, I can't actually remember much about them. I remember the big things, but like a lot of the nuances I think are kind of lost in time. And then back at that village where I can never remember his name, the elf guy that was patrolling, who was kind of stationed there, who was in love with the healer woman Bronwyn. He went down a tunnel because they found a village and it had like all these tunnels dug under it, and so he went down to investigate, and he got grabbed by some thing. And Bronwyn went back to warn her village, and then discovered one of these things had kind of burrowed under her house and had come up through the floors and tried to attack her son and stuff. So she basically decapitated it and warned the village, and they're kind of all leaving now. So that's good. But yeah, something else that's occurred. I did think about this in the last episode, and it may or may not be significant, but the forge and the towers that Elrond is currently in the middle of talking to the engineer blacksmithy guy about. I've got a feel, I could be completely wrong, because I'm not quite sure where in the timeline this show fits, like in relation to the films and the books. But I do feel like that forge, in fact, it's going to be before, isn't it? Because Elrond's young, if he's who I think he is. I've got a feeling the forge is potentially where the rings were originally forged, like the Rings of Power, like the name of the series, like the one ring that Frodo gets. I've got a feeling that's where they were forged. I could be completely wrong because I cannot remember. I know it's somewhere really hot, and I know obviously for Frodo to destroy the One Ring, he had to take it to Mordor and find the big volcano hot place, because that was the only place that could destroy it. So I'm guessing that this forge may be where it was created. That's why it needs to be so specialised, because it has to be so hot to create these specific things that are powerful. Again, could be completely off the mark there. But yeah, I think that's probably it for the recap. I might be missing some kind of minor details, but that's the kind of gist of what happened. So with that said, I reckon it's time to jump into the Rings of Power episode 3. Oh shit. He survived.
Now dig!
Are these all the people from the village? Shit, they are orcs.
She lives.
One of the Eldar. On board my ship.
To what port do we sail?
See for yourself. We're nearly there.
Nearly where?
Home.
What is this place?
There is only one place it can be. The island kingdom of Numenor.
I was trying to figure out if I should know where we are, but maybe not. That's cool.
Since when did men like me build kingdoms such as this?
These men are not like you. These men stood with the elves.
I suggest we set history aside for the moment. Let's try not to antagonize these people.
Captain, the Queen Regent is occupied, as is Chancellor Farazon. I suggest that...
So curious.
Speak, elf.
Galadriel of the Noldor, daughter of the Golden House of Finarfin, commander of the northern armies of High King Gil-galad.
Halbrand. Of the Southlands.
All we ask is that Numenor continue his mercy and grant us ship's passage to Middle-earth. Surely you can spare a few planks and a rudder. One way or another, I will depart.
I welcome you to try. Guards,
My friend, it seems to me that our leaving presents some complications. Weigh our request. A few days, perhaps.
3 days, and the elf is to be restricted to palace grounds.
So why did the captain save her? It sounded like, to me it sounded like he saved her because elves were almost revered by their people, but apparently not. Maybe he took her back there just so they could imprison
It would
her?
be wise to resolve this matter swiftly.
she is but one elf.
An avalanche can start with one stone.
Elendil, an uncommon name. Pray tell, what does it mean?
One who loves the stars.
That is not its only translation, is it?
In the ancient tongue of the Eldar, it can also mean elf friend.
Then are you? An elf friend?
I'm a loyal servant of Numenor.
Then I shall have to ask you to perform the service.
Not to kill her, surely.
These passages reach all the way to Horde, possibly beyond. This must be how they escaped our detection, and how they shield themselves from sunlight.
They're searching for something.
Some sort of weapon, perhaps.
It seems Morgoth has a successor.
Sauron. I wonder if it's the brand thing, the metal thing that the son of Bronwyn found. Bastards.
You will inform Farazon that she's escaped.
She looks better. Cleaner.
Be wiser to steal the half sail. That skiff will hardly get you out of the harbour. Lalje sanke loilquen, Erinia.
Manistelia quete il danombe.
Where I was raised, many speak it. It is still taught in our Hall of Law.
Your Hall of Law, how far is that?
Quarter day's ride.
I like him. I think he's gonna help her. I mean, obviously he's helping her now, but like, it feels like there might be part of this island where like the old ways are still quite common. They still speak Elvish. They still kind of hold the elves in high regard, which obviously like the Queen and the other nobles don't. So I kind of feel like that's, you know, he's gonna help her because he's one of the older types. I know what I mean. I'm waffling here.
That's him, isn't it?
fellow who sailed in with the elf. It's you, isn't it?
Certainly appears that way.
On a lucky streak, low man. We sailed to our island, eating our food, drinking our ale.
Next few rounds on me.
Really thought I wouldn't notice.
Well, I thought it was worth a try.
No, man!
Ow. I mean, I feel like that was a little bit, like, extreme. Punch a couple of them in the face and then run.
Thank you for bringing me here.
Thank our last king. It's because of him this place wasn't torn down.
He was loyal to the elves.
Is loyal. We forced him from the throne for it. They say he spends his days in the tower now.
What is this?
The account of a human spy retrieved from an enemy dungeon. He drew this to record the tower's location.
Wait a moment. I must be blind. This is no sigil.
It's the brand, isn't it?
And the inscription?
It speaks not only of a place, but a plan. A plan to be enacted in the event of Morgoth's defeat by his successor. Matters are worse than I imagined.
And the Southlands are in grave danger.
The Southlands are but the beginning.
The hobbits. We haven't seen them this episode.
Nobody goes up train.
We can't carry the cart without you. We're going to be left behind.
No Brandyfoot has ever been left behind. We'll make it to the Grove.
It's a shame they couldn't get the stranger guy to help, because he probably wouldn't have any problems moving their thing. It's the stranger from Numenor. Don't know why I suddenly thought that.
Reds, noon is very full, so be careful where you're having your shenanigans later on.
Be careful where you have your shenanigans later on.
We remember those from prior migrations who fell behind. And should any Harfoot fall behind this migration, in our hearts and in our memories. In life, we could not wait for them. Miles Brightapple, stuck in the snows of the mountain pass.
We wait for you.
Linseed Proudfellow, taken by landslide one rainy winter day.
We wait for you.
It's really sad. Shit.
Lovo Baljabook, bees. We all loved him, but he wasn't Aegis. No way. You have lied, you've stolen, brought a dangerous outsider into our midst.
Our laws are clear. Any Harfoot that breaks them is to be decaravaned.
Our laws are clear indeed, but Miss Brandyfoot is young. There's much hair still to grow on her toes as sense between her ears. Tomorrow we depart as planned. The Brandyfoot cart will be with us. At the back of the caravan.
At the back?
At the back.
You may as well have stamped our name in the book of the left behinds.
If he understood any of that.
Galadriel, the Galadriel.
Scourge of the Orcs.
Never mind what she's the scourge of. Why is she in Numenor?
Waiting for a ship to Middle-earth. Queen Regent's raised me to post captain.
Who gets to escort her back?
Looking for a promotion, cadet. 9 days until the sea trial. All right?
I was thinking I might defer.
Defer?
Just for a season, perhaps?
I know you've doubts, son. The watery part of this world has a way of healing even the deepest of wounds.
The way it's healed yours.
In 9 days' time, when the sea trial begins and that ship launches, you will be on it.
How fares the quest for peace?
Don't start.
You are more than you claim. I found this in the Hall of Law. Many ages ago, a man bearing that mark united the scattered tribes of the Southlands under one banner. The very banner that might unite them again today, against the evil that now seeks to claim their lands. Your lands, Halbrand. Your people have no king, for you are him.
Shit.
Ours was no chance meeting. Ours was the work of something greater.
All I see is an elf who won't put down her sword.
Come with me to Middle-earth, and together we will redeem both our bloodlines.
So pretty.
It is here, Father. The moment we feared. The elf has arrived.
Prophesized or something?
Just give me a moment to get my breath under me.
It's gonna be the man. Please let it be the man.
Friend.
This is it? This is how we keep up with the others, all of us. He helps us and we help him.
God, why am I crying about that? Jesus. Oh, nice.
Release the wand!
Oh, shit. Looks nice. He's not gonna get out, is he? Oh no. Fuck's sake.
Bring him to Adar.
Wow. that was a bit more of an emotional episode than I was expecting. Really good one. It actually feels like we're starting to get into like the main meat of it type of thing. Obviously the first episode was set up because they always are, and it felt like the second episode was kind of a bit of a carry on from that. So we obviously learned a bit more, but we didn't kind of get to where we needed to be to get the story moving, and I felt like we've actually done that with this episode. Numenor was really cool. I know the name, so I'm sure that's been brought up in Lord of the Rings, like in the books, the films, whatever. It's really annoying because I wanted to Google some stuff before I watched this, but then I don't want to accidentally come across spoilers. I should probably have rewatched the movies, honestly, but they're long movies and I kind of wanted to start. It was difficult to find time to do that, like before I needed to start reacting to something else. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm probably going to watch straight after finishing this sort of in my own time type of thing. I was very intrigued as to, because like I said during the reaction, it felt like the captain picked her up and was like, and felt like he needed to take her back to Numenor because they revered elves, when clearly that's not the case. I think they used to, but obviously something's happened and the newer kings and queens of that island have basically decided that elves aren't trusted or whatever. I'm not quite sure the reasoning of that yet. I'm sure we're going to find that out. Not sure if it's like because of some misunderstanding between the elves and the humans, or if it's literally a power play by the humans that kind of phased the elves out. I'm not quite sure what the background is on that, but like I said, we're probably going to find that out as the season progresses. The guy that arrived with Galadriel, it was really interesting finding out that he was actually the king of like the Southlands, or at least he was somebody that was uniting villages and the tribes and stuff. So that's obviously sort of coming into play. And again, I'm trying to rack my brains as to like the Return of the King book and film, like whether that's related, which I'm sure it is. I don't know if that's a descendant of this guy or if this guy was actually the one in the films. I'm guessing probably it's a descendant, just because obviously humans aren't as long-lived as elves. The patrolling elf guy, who I can never remember the name of, the one who had a thing about Bronwyn the healer, obviously he was captured by an orc. Those are orcs that have been like attacking, so that's cleared that up, because I wasn't sure in the last episode. It seems that they've probably got all the villagers from that village that they found that was deserted. They couldn't find any bodies, so I'm guessing that's what's happened to all of them. They're now enslaved by the orcs. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. They're obviously tunneling. I don't know if they're just trying to get to somewhere without being exposed to the sun, or if there's like a bigger plan for that area. But again, I'm sure we'll find that out. And that bit at the end with the guy nearly escaping and then getting shot with the arrow, it was just like, oh my god, that was heartbreaking. But yeah, talking about heartbreaking was the whole Hobbit bit as well, with Nori's family obviously getting further and further behind, and I was thinking that, yes, but the stranger, the man can help you, and obviously he did, and it was just like, and the way he called to her as well at the, you know, when they were all camped, like before they were leaving, you know, everybody was like really startled by him, and it was like, oh my god, what's going on? And he was just like, Nori! It was just really touching and sad, but nice at the same time. But yeah, the captain guy as well, like, I know I'm jumping around subjects. I do actually need to start making notes as I'm watching, not extensive notes, but just like scribbling down things that I want to talk about at the end, because I just end up talking about things completely out of order and just as I remember them, so it's a bit jumbled. So I might actually start doing that from now on. It might help with names as well. But yeah, I think the captain, the one that rescued Galadriel and Halfhand, can't remember what his name is, but the guy, the human, I think the captain is going to play a big part going forward. I've got a feeling he's going to help Galadriel and the guy escape. We've obviously seen a bit of his daughter and his son as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went along as well. But I think they're probably going to head, you know, like Galadriel wants to the Southlands. We didn't see Elrond that episode either, so I don't know what he's up to, or the dwarves actually. But presumably they'll come up in the next episode. But yeah, no, it was really good. Like I said, it feels like we're actually starting to move somewhere now. It's actually starting to get quite interesting. So looking forward to watching the next one. So if you've enjoyed this reaction, feel free to like the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.